It is the Hell's Kitchen after show. You know how we do. We're about to get started to talking about all the things Hell's Kitchen. So let's get it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, Lem. We're losing Lem in here. Yeah.
Someone call a doctor.
Yeah.
He can't breathe now. Put your arms up. Put your arms up, Lem. Put them up and breathe. Inhale, exhale, inhale.
Shout
Inhale,
out
exhale.
to Elise's Chicken.
Oh my gosh.
Bless his heart, y'all.
He's crying.
Oh my gosh. I really couldn't breathe like a minute ago. Oh my God.
Tell him what happened.
Oh man. They saw it. They saw everything. What's up, everybody? Yeah, it's Lem Gonsalves here.
We need a tissue. Look at his eyes.
You got to bear with me today. It's been a long day. But trust me, I'm excited to talk about Hell's Kitchen with my people. You can find me at the Poet Saint all over social media. Check out my website, stayonthemic.com. Next to me,
Hi guys, we are gonna get it together.
oh gosh.
I promise I'm gonna take this away so he can breathe a
you.
little bit. What's up, guys? It's Ashley Chaney. Let's talk online. If you want to find me there, you can do that at Ashley on Camera, where I will definitely be more collected. How about you, darling?
Hello, everybody. It's Rhavin with the V. You can find me at B Stays Busy, and I'm gonna pull up the chat, the live chat, in just a minute. So holla at us.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. I guess I'll tell you my name. It's Frank Moran. Sure.
Which has nothing to do with Jackie.
No,
Right.
it has nothing to do. There you go.
Awesome.
That's great, Lem. You good?
I think so. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what that was. I think I was. Well, anyway, you saw what happened. I had my intro in my head, and then something hit me in my head, like not physically, and then I got off track. And then once I got off track, it was over, and I couldn't recover. And then when the music came on, I couldn't breathe, and so then I thought I was gonna die. And Ashley's like patting me on the back like this, like I was choking.
I didn't know he died.
Like,
He was dying.
yeah, but I'm okay.
They weren't ready. He wasn't ready.
Yeah, it's all good. It happens. It's live TV.
You the bounce back king now.
I
You
mean,
the bounce back king.
we got to do. We professionals up in here.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
You know.
All right, enough about that. Let's talk about this episode. First of all, we may be having a guest later on in the show, so keep your fingers crossed with that. So let's talk about this episode. We saw the foreshadowing about Van's Jungle Fever. I thought was really interesting.
I knew he was down with the swirl. I knew it.
But
What do you mean you knew it?
I knew it.
How could you tell?
I could just tell.
You could just tell.
His little swag. His swag, I can tell.
It's because he's red all the time?
No, that has nothing to do with it, but he's just like, he's got
Yeah.
that swag, like he's into a Nubian queen, you know what I'm saying?
I love how he's just like, I'm gonna sit down next to my Nubian princesses. I was like, are they supposed to they're supposed to get them? Like, yeah.
I think it got Barbie.
Well,
She
it did
loved
get Barbie.
it.
I mean,
Even
at
though
least-
he was really talking about like Elise.
You think so?
so?
No, I think it was Barbie because they were flirting back and forth.
In his OTF, the side comment, he said Elise.
I think, you know what? That's very well. I think he likes.
I think he'll take what he can get.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. I think he
But
favors.
Barbie is the one that's like,
Yeah, she's throwing. I mean, Elise isn't throwing anything his way.
Elise is,
because she's hard to get.
Elise is not having it at all.
Elise is engaged, isn't she? She said fiance when she was on our show.
Yeah, we
Wait,
don't know
on
if
the
that was
show?
on the
But
show.
when she was on the show, though.
I don't know. She must have been dating him. I'm sure they didn't just up and, hey, you be engaged all of a sudden.
True.
You know?
But regardless, I don't think she would go for him at all. Anyway.
He's got the cool like sled bed or whatever.
With all leather.
Yeah, all leather. I was like, no, that can't be comfortable without
Man is
sleep on.
country. He probably still has a water bed.
I was gonna say one of those car beds.
He probably has a water bed, like the only one left. I think they do still. Well, anyway,
Leave him alone.
Out there where he's from. So yeah, they start. Him and Barbie start flirting back and forth. We don't see anything else manifesting of it, so I'm assuming that it was just deaded after that. I don't think, because we have seen some Hell's Kitchen romances and hot tub, situations in previous seasons. So I don't think it'll be something like this. I honestly do think, I agree with Rhavin. I think he was kind of really feeling Elise, and because she didn't take the bait and it was Barbie, he kind of just went with it and just like, all right, I'm good. And that was it. So let's get into the challenge. Obviously, we know that the winner of Hell's Kitchen is going to be the Hell's Kitchen restaurant, and they're going to be the head chef there. Correct, which I can't wait till that opens because I want to go.
But we were out there opening weekend.
We know you're going to get all the hookups.
Can't wait to see your photos.
You know what?
I still can't get old girl to hit me back. What's her name?
You know what? You can always come with me. Like, no one has said you
Obviously, it has
can't
to be
come.
with you. We can't get it without you.
I'm saying no, but I'm saying just because I'm the one that reaches out, like you act like you can't reach out. All I do is just
Red.
reach.
What's her name?
Who are you talking about?
Ariel?
Yeah.
Ariel.
Yeah, she's not there anymore.
Yeah, she's not there.
She's left Vegas.
Yeah, she's in Miami now. She's
But when
she's
she
on
was
her
in
thing.
Vegas, I heard.
So what about it? I'm saying you could. Ariel's was here like 3 times. You could have Anyway, don't hate.
I'm salty.
Yeah, super salty. So we see some showgirls come out to represent Vegas, and then the game is going to be about chance. So kind of going with the theme.
That was kind of a lackluster intro. Like, it's about show, the spectacle. And,
And
it's
then it was like,
"Yeah."
we're just going to
Yes.
play a game of chance.
The second week in a row that those intros to the games have been a little weak sauce.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what are you guys doing with the producing here? It's not really living up.
So you said the game. You didn't like the game?
The game,
intro.
actually, I really liked because I'm a fan of game night word and stuff. But I meant the intro. But this week and last week with that cups thing, it's just like, where did this come from? If you're gonna have the challenge,
that
just
one.
say, here's the challenge. Why have these people come on and don't even talk to the contestants or anybody? They just do a weird performance and then leave.
That one was weird with the little boy and how he did the cups.
Well, she's saying this one was weird in her opinion as well.
I thought it was too. It was,
correlation.
it was just kind of a
kinda
dud. It just came out one.
Because when you see the spectacular, bust out, you're like, oh my gosh, what kind of challenge is this going to be? And you never think that it's just going to be a game of chance. You thought maybe it's going to be something a little more
Something
physical.
else. Like it's not matching.
Or, yeah.
It's not matching.
Yeah,
I
very
think
true.
it's it could be. I mean, this is again 17 seasons. Maybe they're running out of ways to introduce
It's
things.
2017.
Okay.
There's always
just
a way
not
of being
just not
creative.
having
No.
anything about that. Okay.
run out.
Sure.
I assume you all played along though. When they got a
I did,
letter,
too.
try to see if you could get if you'd be stumped
didn't?
before they would.
I did not.
No,
I
did
tried
not.
to,
But
but
you obviously
It was
did.
going very fast.
It was going fast.
But there was one. Somebody's flunked out on C, and I'm
C,
like,
she's like,
come on,
Yes.
there's so many
Like
C's.
carrots.
I think too the
Chicken.
pressure, the pressure gets to you. It's just like when you watch these game shows,
Yeah.
and you know the answer. Like, why do you not know the answer? But I
When he
think
said
you're in thick
what
of
is it, maraschino
Yes.
cherry?
Yeah, that was
I was
terrible.
like,
That was terrible, and that was his first thing that came to his mind.
Yep.
Like, how is that the first thing that comes to your mind when M happens? I didn't get that.
What would you do for M? Go.
I
Go,
would
go,
say
go.
It's
3,
mustard.
2, okay.
See?
they said
Yeah,
that. You
they
cheated.
did say. I didn't cheat. That's what I would have said because I like mustard. Don't hate. Why you coming for me, Robin? Jeez, I almost died earlier. Have some compassion.
I would have sung at your funeral.
Wow.
That's
really?
love.
That's not love because you just said I would have died.
You said I almost died, and I said, had you, I would have sung at your funeral. That's
really?
all.
Okay.
That's
I love
nice.
you. Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking.
Would you have donated to my GoFundMe?
Yes. I would have started it and put a picture of you like this on the panel at AFTERBUZZ. That would be the
Next to
picture on the
Ashley.
go.
Oh, yeah, wait for that.
All you see is
Yeah,
Ashley's hand like this, going like this.
It's okay,
Oh
everybody,
my
we're all
gosh.
Where would you need to be funded, Len?
What's that?
You're dead. Where do you need to be funded?
good. For the funeral.
Because you know
that's
he's going to have a
Hello,
lavish
expenses.
funeral. You know he's going to be all day exclusive funeral.
Of course.
You know,
It's gotta
we don't
be
have
amazing.
Elise at the repast with the fried chicken.
Yes.
Right?
That
So-
definitely, that would be on the list of things. I'm gonna have a list of things
on
that
the
you would
list.
have to take care of it. Well, to bring the lemon pepper chicken, of course.
I thought this challenge would have made a really good drinking game, by the way. I'm just saying.
It would have been.
You know,
It would
like
have
if you
been.
fail, you got to drink. If you don't
Right.
get a game, drink up.
You got to do it.
Okay, so we should
Brand.
do that when we have someone come
Something to think
in
about.
live.
I think that's
Okay.
the best time to be thinking about that stuff.
I know. It's because I want alcohol so bad. You guys, I
I
gave
feel
up
like that's
alcohol.
what it is. Like,
Just like that
Ashley
was
gave
your
it's
up.
on
drinking
the
game?
brain. Yeah.
Everything's a
21 more
drinking game.
days. Everything. Drink water. You can drink water. No, not the
water.
same. Yeah, yummy.
But look,
So yeah, the game basically they had to a letter would come up, and then each person from the team would have to say a letter or say a dish that had that letter. And if you got stumbled, then
Not even
basically
a dish, huh?
Which is an ingredient.
Yeah, it was just ingredient.
Because someone
Thank
said
you.
a dish,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was a pasta.
yes.
It's like, that's not what it is. But yeah, I think the maraschino cherries was probably terrible. Like the most terrible out of all of them. There was some other things that were weird. Like I think it's because you're just saying what comes to mind,
Yeah.
but like peanut butter, like why would you say that seems like a hard ingredient to work
Cantaloupe.
with.
Cantaloupe is a look for me. Like, I love
Cantaloupe.
cantaloupe, but not
Unless
as
you're
like
doing
with
like dessert, maybe.
Or like cantaloupe prosciutto
Yeah.
salad appetizer deal, but for a main dish, that's
Right.
tough.
Blueberries was on there.
They had
Raisins.
raisins.
yeah, raisins. Like, what are you gonna do with raisins?
But yeah, they came up with some interesting stuff.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
And they looked good.
It did look
They
good.
all
They
looked
did. They
good.
did make it look good. I mean, who was it? Was it our boy Josh's had the best looking one?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Even
one
though
of the
it
worst
didn't
tasting ones.
taste
Didn't
the
taste
best,
awesome. Yeah.
but he did have it best
Bacon wrapped
looking.
halibut.
Yeah, that was great. So they each ended up with 7 ingredients after all was said and done, and so. They had to make the dishes, and they each had different proteins they had to work with. But of course, it made sure that matched with the other team. So it started off with Barbie, and she had halibut, and so
She was allergic to the peanut
Yeah.
butter
Right,
and
which-
did it off the pork.
could had it, but Elise did taste it for her. But she got a 4, which is good.
It is.
She
not
said if she
having
would have
tasted your
tasted
own
right.
dish.
She said if she tasted it would have been a 5. I still would think it would have been a 4. I'm just saying.
I feel like what could you change so late in the game? Like
Right.
after once it's tasting time, you can only
Exactly.
change it by so much.
That's
right?
why I'm saying I don't think it would have been got to a 5. And plus, I feel like Elise is a strong chef, so I feel like her palate is decent.
And I think that they're kind of like a team. I feel like Elise probably would have really tried to help her. I don't think
Yeah,
she
if it was
they were
like
trying to
nasty,
sabotage
It
she
wasn't
like,
like sabotage, right?
Yeah.
We need to do
Absolutely,
something about this.
absolutely. She definitely would have.
Just get yourself a fleet of EpiPens. And just keep tasting and jab and taste and jab, taste and jab.
Right. Would have looked like me over here. Amanda had a rib cap. I'm curious. What is rib cap?
Yeah,
What is that? Does anyone know what rib cap is? I mean, it looked like just like a cut of steak, but I don't know.
No, in fact, I did not hear them say rib cap. I think I probably just heard rib.
Yeah, it was
And-
definitely cap after it.
No, it was rib cap. I just had never heard of that term. I was
Never
just
either.
curious. Yeah, just never heard of that term.
Moments when you need Maria Provenzano.
Cantaloupe-infused rice.
Yeah, right. So rib cap.
Anybody in the chat know what rib cap is?
Yeah.
And have you ever had it? Holla.
We might
'Cause
not
I've
be
never.
able to
I've had
get
ribs.
that answer right
I think
away.
we've all had ribs, but rib cap.
I've had rib tips.
Rib tips, yeah.
Rib tips.
Why you sound so country when you
Because
said
you
that?
gotta say it like that. Barbecue rib tips.
Amanda had the rib cap. She got a 2. Dana had rib eye, which got a perfect rib eye. I do know what a rib eye is, not the cap though. She got a 5. Robin, she had the seared black cod. I love how.
Did anybody? Yeah, but anybody notice this when she's cooking and then she gives it up to Danny to taste, and then she takes a spoon and starts mixing it right back
Dana?
up again.
Oh my God, she put her spoon back in the
Yes.
I did
Did
know
she?
No,
Oh, I didn't
wait.
catch that.
Before she did that, she did a little boop and then put it back in.
Oh
She did
Really?
this.
She swiped it
Yeah.
on her apron.
Yeah.
no!
I did see that.
Just
did.
toss that spoon.
She tossed
toss
it
that
back in there.
spoon.
But I feel like with the they're always touching they're touching everything, and I just feel like we have to just sort of let go of some of the germs.
I can let go of the touching because if you're only touching the food and you've
bet.
washed your hands before, but like once it goes to your mouth, that's DNA.
Right.
That's going back into the
Correct.
food. That's a little different than once your hands have been washed
It is a little
and you're
different.
not touching crazy stuff after that.
My mind was like, okay, it's hot enough. It's gonna
Because
burn
I've
off
always
any
seen
germs.
Chef Ramsay like take a plastic little spoon, taste, and then he throws it away.
Yes.
Or when he's tasting, he has like several utensils there, and then obviously he discards them. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it happens. I mean, we've seen it happen where he calls them out, like, did you just do that? But I think it happens a lot where we don't
Probably,
see, the
yeah,
camera
that
doesn't
we don't
catch,
see it.
because they're going so fast, and that's what I think it is. They're on this crazy time limit. They're trying to get it done, and it's just bound to happen.
But the crazy part was when Dana didn't even want to give her like any.
I get dry mouth.
She's just like, I can't help you. Like I have no taste buds. It was almost as if she just didn't want to commit.
no, she didn't.
maybe had she just said it's a little bland.
Right.
Maybe she could have helped a little. Maybe. It's for the team though. It's for the team. So when you leave someone hanging, that's you're leaving your team hanging.
Sure.
What did you guys think about the plating of that one? This is where Chef Ramsay said it looked like someone had been shot.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
I wouldn't have said that. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was nice, but then again, you know, like our I don't know, the way the TV I'm watching it on may have made it look a little different than what it looked like.
It's got some super high definition. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it just colorizes things.
Right.
It does look a little orange on some
People be looking
Right.
hella green.
Yeah.
And Van looks hella red on that screen out there.
It was supposed to be a showstopper. I mean,
Yeah. I thought it was cool looking, but you know, of course,
thought it was
he said it was
artistic.
thing. But I think that it was the taste is why she got the one. It was the appearance.
He said it was
Right.
It's her
bland.
second one,
He
man.
said it was
And it's the
bland.
second one, and it's really bad. She's not holding it down for her team at all at this point.
Robin, we'd love to have you defend yourself. Where are you on Skype, girl?
Exactly. So Elise had the Wagyu strip steak. She got a 5. Michelle,
I feel like that's kind of unfair because anybody who has a Wagyu strip steak, I mean, that's going to taste pretty good, like
on
regardless,
its own,
right?
but you still got to cook it.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to cook it right. I mean, you could overcook it, or you could have some terrible, additions to it, garnishes or whatever. But I think, I agree. It's probably easier to cook than maybe some of the other things. But she killed. She always does. Michelle had a filet. 5 as well.
Killed it.
Jennifer had monkfish. Has anyone had monkfish? I know they cook a lot of that on Hell's Kitchen. Not had monkfish. Have you had monkfish?
No, named after the Tony Shalhoub show.
Is it?
Oh, I love that show.
What is
Say it
called monkfish?
I know, but when you say it so many times, you're like, you have monkfish? They cook a lot of monkfish. Have you had monkfish? Monkfish, you? No,
That's
you
what
haven't
it
had
is.
monkfish? Like, it's just like, I'm like,
Whatever. Anyway, we get over to the blue side. Millie, the guy that couldn't come up with any ingredients for his team. Poor guy.
he really couldn't. Didn't
he
do
had-
bad at all.
Yeah, exactly. He had the monkfish. Got a 4. Your boy Van, he had a filet. Got a 3.
That was a little disappointing.
Yeah, on a filet, again, something that should be easy and they should have cooked a trillion times, especially him. He says, when they were kind of clowning on Josh about, his job and how he's, standing 3 hours a day, which was kind of diva-ish. And he was like, I stand 16 hours a day. And so, but you got a 3 on your filet. So
He's gotten 5s too, I think, on the last 2 challenges. I think
he's done well. He's done well. He's done well. But he didn't, deliver
But
this
still,
particular
Josh
time.
is very annoying with
Exactly.
all that.
Benjamin had the Wagyu, got a 5. Jared, Mr. Talk a Lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gerard.
Can't back it up.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Gerard.
Speaking of talking a lot, like his voice was really raspy this episode.
Yeah. It's probably a lot of yelling. I don't know.
He was under the weather on this one.
Maybe.
agree.
He had the black cod, got a 1, good old 1, only 1 for his team.
Which is crazy because he was like, it's on the borderline of, what is it, brilliance and then crazy?
Yes.
Or genius and crazy, I think he said.
But I feel like that's Jared. Like he's always bigging up himself more than what he's actually capable of doing.
Yep,
Just-
that deep water talk, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're talking
I
about?
feel like he's always, exactly. He's always doing that. And this is another example that he did not deliver. Nick had the ribeye, got a 5, and then Josh had the halibut and got a 3. So basically, it was down to Gio with the rib cap. And so they need a 5 just to tie, right? Just to tie. Everyone's waiting in anticipation because the red team, the women, had not won at that
So
point.
used to just
They've been losing
defeats.
every single time. So they're just waiting, and sure enough, Gio gets a 4. So I love how he says 4, yeah, and they just erupt, and they're just so excited because
they needed it.
They did need a win. I think it was.
If this would have been their 5th, it would have been their 5th loss had they lost this.
I think it would have been their fourth.
Their
Yeah, because they
fourth?
went
Okay.
3 in a row, but they haven't won one yet. So yeah, it's pretty defeating.
No, it said the guy said after 4 losses. You know
After
the
4.
little, the little talking, the little host,
The little talking house guy.
the little man, the headless voice.
The narrator.
That's the one.
That's the headless guy. The headless guy talking.
That's what I was trying to say, and I couldn't think of
The
it.
headless. I'm like, what are you? Is this a Halloween thing? Like, did I miss something? I'm
so mad about
picturing a headless announcer. Like, I'm really picturing, like, what show
I'm so
did you
mad
watch?
at myself. I
Did
couldn't
you
think of
watch
it.
the
I was
right
really
show?
mad at you up until this point.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I couldn't think of narrator. The narrator said after 4 losses.
Okay, so then they lost 4 times.
So that would have been the 5th loss.
Fifth loss, if they would have lost.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
No,
Well,
I
are they
can't.
counting the 2? Oh, no.
It would just
I don't
be-
know. Y'all talk to the narrator. That's
would
what he
just
said.
be-
Okay?
I just want a headless guy
headless-
from now.
the
Like,
headless
camera
voice.
pans and he's
Are you
standing
sure
on
that's
the
what he
stairs.
said? Because you didn't think he had a head. So I don't know.
He doesn't appear on
Okay,
camera.
okay,
That's all I
all right.
mean.
Do you think though, like that Chef Ramsay was like, "Hey, the girls, they've
Really
lost.
gonna win?
No.
We just got to give them a little morale boost. I'm going
No.
to give them the win."
I'm
No.
so with you. I'm so with you
I
because
don't think he would do that.
I think the difference between a 4 out of 5, Giovanni's a great cook. I feel like he probably made a 5-star dish, but
Then he could have easily
So
tried
you
it.
think he wanted to give it to the women?
I think he needed.
To the
I
red
think
team?
he knew that the red team needed a win to bring them back together. 'cause,
That's
like,
not even
they're
how he
just,
gets
like,
down, though.
I don't know. Either that or the producers were like, "Listen,
We need that.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. In past, there has been times, and this is the first time that I can remember in a while that the blue team has been the dominant team. It usually has been the red in the last several seasons that I remember. But I do remember there was one specifically where the blue team lost like basically 8 in a row. Like it was bad, like really, really bad. So for him to say like, "Oh, I'm gonna give it to him after it's been 3 or 4,"
Yeah,
I don't know that he would necessarily
too soon to cave
to
kind
do
of
that. Yeah, I can see him just letting it ride. So I think whatever it was, and then I think also because he was doing it, I think if it was somebody else, we wouldn't question it as much.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was another guest judge, he'd be, "Oh, we just take it for what it is." But I think that it was a 4. I think it was a 4 because I mean, a tiebreaker would have been better TV if you
Right.
think about it.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, who has the best dish now? And so they have to, measure up
voice.
or whatever. So
Love it. I love
headless.
I got to imagine though the producers watching that. It got to be in the control room just talking up a storm in his ear because
Yeah.
it always gets almost down to the wire
Yeah.
between the red and blue team. Almost every single challenge.
But they're not necessarily going to be talking in Chef's ear. They'll be talking to like the AD. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll stop, like, cut, and then like, "Come here, we need to do this," and then send him back out. They don't have anything going in his ear as it's like.
as it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That would be
Sometimes
crazy.
you like-
yeah. Wait, excuse me. What?
It's like, "What, you donut?"
you don't."
I will say
I'm using
this.
that forever
I
am
from
too.
now
Right.
on.
We've had some of the guests on from previous seasons, and they have confirmed. Now, could just be saying this, but they've said like, from their experience, it gets down to like that. Like when we see like, oh my gosh, like it's supposed to be a nail biter, is this real or is this like they're creating this drama? They've said like, no, it's really like that. So I don't know. I mean, obviously it is a reality show at the end of the day, and we know working in this business that that's going to happen. You're going to create a story, you're going to create a narrative. It's just kind of how the show works, to garner viewings and stuff like that. But in this particular case, the women won, the red team won, which is good for them. Yay for them.
Go ladies, go ladies.
And this was a really good prize to win because, first of all, you get to fly in a private jet.
Yeah, well, I will say one thing though.
What?
This show shoots in LA, and they're like, "We're going to Santa Barbara." That
Right.
flight is probably like 20 minutes.
2
tops.
seconds.
Like 20
You know what's
minutes.
funny? Because when you're saying that, I'm like, wait a second. Like, it's an hour away from my house. Like, I
can
drive to
drive
Santa
there.
Barbara all the time. So I'm literally like, it's got to be like 10, 15
They might have
minutes.
just like sat on the airplane
Yeah.
and drank a glass of champagne and then
Yeah.
busted up to Santa Barbara.
Right. Or they just sat on the airplane, like,
Yeah.
all right, cut.
Yeah.
And then they took him on a bus, like, down there. Because literally, like, and I
That's what we need someone to verify that for sure.
For real.
I know.
Because it really, like, I know. I was like, yo, like, that's a short.
It's a short
flight.
Yeah.
Super short flight. But they got to go to stay at the Belmont El Encanto, which is a 5-star hotel. I actually looked it up. I mean, I like to do research because
Planning a weekend
As you
away.
should.
That's true.
well, I mean, when stuff is local, you want to kind of see what it's like, and so because I go to Santa Barbara quite a bit, and so I wanted to see what it's like, and it looked pretty fresh, has infinity pool, and where they were staying and all that kind of stuff. So
It's good enough for a Kennedy.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Okay.
There it is. There it is.
I do a show at
His
AFTERBUZZ.
favorite.
I need a comp room.
They'll be like, no, you need to give us a comp
After
check.
who?
right,
Say what?
right. Nah,
The guys
son.
never had the blue team didn't get any overnights though, did they on their prizes?
No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. Not yet. They got some cool little prizes, but yeah, just stuff in town that they were able to go to. It didn't. It said that they stayed the night, right? It didn't seem like that when they came back.
I
though.
know. It seemed like a day.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was an overnight thing, but could be how that's. So speaking of Rhavin, she was liking the ladies, the View.
Token lesbian.
Yeah, she said she was missing her girlfriend, and all the other chefs were walking around in their bikinis, and she was liking it. She was liking it. So she said she missed her girlfriend. So looks like she didn't. Did she push somebody in the pool or tried to?
She tried to do. Was it Amanda?
Was Amanda push her in the pool?
Oh, I can't remember.
Can't remember.
Okay.
But she's the only lesbian on the team, right?
Yes. Yes.
It
On the
appears, yeah.
yes
That's why she. Yeah, token. Mhm.
token.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wonder.
Uh-oh.
I'm just wondering.
Just wondering. Just
If there's any
wondering.
wiggle room there. You never know.
The blue team has to sort garbage and eat fish concoction. Like I do love this part of that they're doing. Normally we would see it every once in a while where they would make them eat something disgusting. Every single loser, every time a team loses, they have to eat something disgusting. And I like that. I mean, obviously that's not their meal, but they have to eat it. And this actually didn't look bad. It looked like a
did.
fish slider.
Until Josh starts like pulling bones out of his
Right.
teeth.
That was disgusting.
He's like, "Ow."
But at first it looked like it was cool.
I would have probably bit into it.
Yeah.
No, but at first when they
What?
sat it down, they said it smelled really bad. Like from
Well,
the
I
moment.
can't smell from the TV.
I'm just saying, but when they say it smelled like caca, like
Then that was an issue. Yeah, it looked fine. I'm sure it was super disgusting, but it looked like it was fine at
I'm gonna need
first.
to get some of these like loser meals over here and have you try some.
No, I don't need to do that. I really don't. I said looks. I know it didn't taste good. I said it looked good. So we get into dinner service, and Josh, they're kind of going in on him. And do you think that this is?
I think there's a little hateration.
Do you think
too.
that's what I'm saying? Like, do you think it's because of what happened earlier with him talking about what he does as a chef, as a private chef to celebrities? Because again, he's the only one that's local. Everyone else is coming from, the other side of the country, East Coast, Midwest, and so he's, kind of bigging up his, what he does.
I
Oh,
definitely
it's-
feel like he easily put a target on his own back though by doing all that.
You think so?
But I don't know, like, who, like, brags, like, I'm on my feet, like, 3 hours a day.
How are you a chef
Like,
to
what?
celebrities, but you're on your feet only 3 hours a day? Like, you just have a whole crew of assistants, or like?
Well, he's not working. I got it that he's not working in the kitchen. He's not working on a line.
Yeah, he's in someone's house.
Yeah.
But I mean, also celebrities don't eat that much, so it doesn't take that long to cook.
That's right. They have tiny stomachs.
Less
Part of being a celebrity. You gotta get your
I
stomach
just
shrunk.
think he should have just said, I'm a chef to celebrities and I have my own company, and just left that 3 hours on my feet in his pocket. He should have just kept that part to himself.
So when he said I'm up 3 hours a day, that's where.
I think
That's
that's
where they
where
got-
I
they
think
felt
that's
some
where
kinda
really,
way.
yeah, because if they're like busting butt all the time, of course they're gonna think like they have more experience than him.
I also think that the blue team, like, they needed someone to vilify, because let's face it, they really haven't had a ton of issues on the blue team. There hasn't
Right.
been a lot of like mess ups.
So, I think he put that target on his back. Like he shouldn't have even said that.
yeah, I think that him talking about his 3 hour workday or whatever was something to make them not like him personally. But then I also think they're looking for someone to attack professionally. So like the fact that he's slow, I continue to stick up for him because he's slow, but every time his dishes come out correct.
Right.
Like even with the risotto, which you know, like we'll probably talk about in a minute. But
He made a lot of it. But
he made a lot of it,
But that definitely slowed them down.
Right.
That definitely slowed them down as a team too.
But still, none of their risottos were messed up. The red team, their risottos were messed up. Like he takes his time. Yes, it's always slow, but it's always right. So I'm still Team Josh in terms of like take your time there. And I feel like they just don't like him, so they won't.
I can agree with that. I can agree. Like you said, I mean, it's a good point. They haven't, had any bad, they've won or they've completed all their services. They've done well in the challenges. They work together well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to get to the point, like, especially if it comes down to them losing, which they did, you got to look for somebody who you can throw under the bus.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm wondering if there's a lot of stuff that we don't see because I feel like, Josh is, bragging about 3 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Not the greatest thing to do to your teammates.
Sure.
But was that bad that they all at the end raised their hands and we cannot have this guy on our team?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
I think it was definitely he was used as a scapegoat for sure. Because the proteins were messed up. Mm-hmm. Like, how can you send someone home for some risotto that he made an excessive amount of?
Like, and that just be it.
But although it does seem like when Chef Ramsay says, you made too much, don't do that again. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're still making too much. Stop doing that. But he kept on messing up on that. I'm like, even though it was still good, it was just like, how do you not get a better idea of like controlling your portion size?
But I think making too much.
He lost it a little in this dinner service.
Yeah.
He was a little frantic. He's like, put it there. No, there. No, there. Right. And then we saw Van get off. Woo. I was like, oh.
That must be that hot temper that.
My man.
No, I mean, I think he was in the weeds a little bit. He wasn't on his A game. I think everyone, it happens to everybody. The best of them, they have, dinner services where they don't do well. Mm-hmm. So I think it was his term, but I think that was amplified because of what he had said earlier. So you don't have a great service, then you said, and like, who knows what he's in. We know he's a talker. He's been here before, right? We know he could talk. He's a chatterbox. So if he's talking about that, who knows what else he said about what he does? And, oh man, guess who and these people are just like, dude, you know better than me.
You gotta watch your back in that type of environment.
Right.
And this is, I mean, he should know by now that they're gonna pick. We said this about all the candidates or all the chefs this season. They've been through this before. They know that the editors are gonna pick the least, flattering clip or
edit it out and
statement,
then boom,
and
that's it.
That's what gets put on the promo reel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we get into dinner service. Aside from picking on Josh, there's a 30th birthday celebration. So that ends up making it tricky because it's 12 top, and so the kitchen is split. So half the kitchen has 6 of them, and half the kitchen has 6 of them. So they have to make sure they come out together so they can all go out to the table. So I don't like how they throw that in there to just, create more drama.
What a cool way to celebrate your 30th birthday, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I was like, who's nephew, cousin?
Right. That's what I'm like, because he wasn't famous, so it's like, somebody.
And a very special 30th birthday.
Right.
Toby.
Who is it? What's their name?
Some producer's child or something.
He definitely said his name.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and you got the shout out.
Right.
Your name.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he knew somebody.
Shout out to you, Toby.
For real. They actually, both teams did get the apps out together for the table, which was good. We see Josh continue to struggle. Michelle, who I actually haven't seen really mess up I've seen. She sent up some raw rice in the risotto, so that was kind of her flub.
And she tasted it. That was the crazy part. I saw her taste it.
And then still sent it up. Josh, man, got his watch burnt up.
That was bonkers.
I was like, is that safe? You can food in there. Put the
Straight up
in there.
He was looking because he's looking at his watch trying to time, which is okay. I get that's like you can't do that.
But
like,
that is kind of like rookie stuff.
It's
right?
very rookie stuff, and he should know better than that.
No, that's exactly how I.
And then he's doing it in front of him too, like
right. I got 2 minutes. It's like, nah, bro.
Well, yeah, but don't you also need to know? If you're saying 8 minutes, you got to know how long 8 minutes is. You just can't feel it unless there's a clock up on the walls you're looking at.
That's fair. Like, why does he have to know? Like, it's one thing.
Well, how does everyone else do it without a stopwatch on their wrist?
I think that's it. Like everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, you're a little beyond that, aren't you? You're an all-star.
It's like having training wheels or something. Like
you
everyone's riding a bike and you're having training wheels.
If
somewhere.
everyone there can do it without one, he should be able to as well, right?
And I feel like
they do have watches though. Man, remember Ashley? Well, she got kicked off for it, but she had a watch too. People are checking their watches. I just think he was like really leaning on it really heavily.
But again, during this dinner service, he was a little obsessive. Like he was
I
He
don't
was
think
on
he
something.
knew how to
He was
convert.
on something because he was just
on
like,
the chimichangas.
Yeah. I think he was either doing it excessively or it was something that was, brought to his attention.
Yeah.
To the tune that Chef Ryan was like, give me that, and then throws it in the pizza oven. I
He
love
had
when
to
they pull
rip
it
it
out.
off. He had to
They pull it off. I'm like, you just damage the dude's watch like that?
So you guys are all Josh, and you watch Tossed In. At what point do you reach out to production and say, hey,
so who's going to pay for my watch?
am I getting a watch back out of this?
There has to be.
No, I'm sure they replaced
There
it.
have to be a replacement. There has to be. We can ask him when he comes.
Was it an
Did you
Apple
ever
Watch?
get your?
No, I doubt it was an Apple
No,
Watch.
it was not an Apple Watch.
I would have said
never
it was.
do
How
that.
could they prove it?
Yeah, yeah.
That was an
That
Apple
didn't
Watch.
look
Don't
nothing
worry.
like an Apple Watch. They could be like, run back the
Look,
tape.
right.
Hold on.
It was not an
He's
Apple
trying
Watch.
it. He's trying it.
No. Yeah, I'm sure that there's some repercussion. No.
Reimbursement.
That's
Thank
the one.
you.
That's the one.
I got you. As much as you think I come for you, I have your back too at the same time. All right, I got you.
It's not my day today. Oh, I'm off. I'm having a Josh moment. That's me today. I'm having my Josh moment. I did think it was funny because after that he has to sit with Paige, who was the special guest.
Oh,
That
in
was the
their
best
kitchen.
punishment ever.
And,
Stop
right.
playing.
He's eating. First of all, he's eating the risotto. He gets to eat it, which I'm sure it's just very tasty.
And then she starts.
And then she starts feeding him. That was great.
That further proves that, like, yes, he made too much risotto, but
Right.
it wasn't
It was
that
delish.
bad to
Right.
tank the
Right.
team. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
feel like that punishment was good enough.
I thought that was funny, and that was great. And I love how she was joining in, hamming it up.
Totally. I
She's
was
so
praying
cute.
that, like,
I remember her from Dancing with the Stars.
Is that where she's from? I thought she was a wrestler.
She's an
Well,
MMA
she's an
fighter
MMA.
that was on
Okay.
Dancing with
She
the
was on
Stars,
Dancing.
but she was like perfect.
Yeah,
She's a
was.
cutie.
She is
for
cute.
sure.
She is cute. We do see Barbie start to struggle on the garnish, which technically is supposed to be the easiest thing to cook.
He's just reheating stuff.
Right.
Who said that? Was that Elise?
Yeah.
It's just reheating stuff. What are you doing? Gio sent up 2 different pork chops for the same table. One was cooked fine.
One was a little on
kind
the
of
crispy
kind
side.
of burnt. So that was a no-no. And then we see the blue team. They sent up raw duck. Who was it? It was 2 people that tried to pass it off.
I don't. They
It was
both.
Jared.
They both felt
Jared,
it too,
yeah.
didn't they? Didn't they both
Yeah,
touch it?
but then they put stuff over it to try and
Well, they thought
mask
Benjamin,
it.
I think Benjamin sauced it.
Sauce.
It looked horrible.
Got it.
Yeah.
It looked bad.
And they called Jennifer from the other side to come
Exactly.
look like, you're that good? And
Yeah.
he's like, look at this.
Yeah.
Will you look at it? Will you look at it?
Will you
And
look
she was
at
like, I might
this?
have an extra one. Like,
Right.
bing, go ahead, girls.
Yeah, she's my silent writer.
Yeah?
Like she's the one. I keep watching her. I'm like, she's not getting a lot of attention, but she's spot on every time. She hasn't messed up yet.
She is good. She's been consistent. She's been consistent. Unfortunately, as he's been doing, it seems like every episode, he ends up kicking the blue team out this time.
Oh, after the Raw Wellington.
After the raw, right?
I,
Correct.
as much as I like my boy Benjamin, like the fact that he touched it and then
I saw
walked
him
it up,
touch
I'm
it,
like,
and he was like, okay, good.
what?
went up.
No, Benjamin, come on, boy.
But how much of that was like? Was he like, okay, this is still warm, or was?
And by the time he got
by
up
the time
there,
he got up there,
it
it was like ice cold.
A lot of vents blowing AC as you're walking right up there.
I think
Oh,
when
man.
he says it's ice cold, I think that's
It's just like-
he's dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not ice cold. It just came out of an
But it
oven.
needs to be
Right.
hot.
Yeah, it needs to be hotter. Yes,
Because by the
but it's
time it
not ice
sits to
cold.
rest and then goes to the table and all
Exactly.
that, like, no one
Exactly.
wants-
But then our guy that was on the first week, whatever his name, not Josh, but the other guy.
Nick.
Yes. When he comes up with that wisdom, he goes like, if I learned anything in my season, is that if the food's not ready, you don't bring it up.
right,
Like
right.
Nick, that's not like a big thing that you cracked. It wasn't.
Crack the code.
Captain, was it
cold.
Captain Obvious?
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Captain Obvious?
Well, that doesn't get us to anything.
Well, you were saying this earlier about Josh. He takes his time and makes sure that it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the problem. And we've seen this on previous seasons that they have an issue with that, where they bring it up and they even know when they know it's like, and they're all just bringing it up anyway. And you know it's going to come back. You know he's going to have a fit about it, and you know you're going to get in trouble. So it's take the heat, no pun intended, and make
Get
it
it
right,
right.
and
Yep.
then send it up. So.
Yep.
I'm sure he appreciates that more. But as I mentioned before, they get kicked out. Elise and Rhavin get sent over to the Blue Kitchen to do the desserts, so to kind of finish up the service.
We didn't get to see the desserts.
We
What were
don't.
the desserts?
But
Something had some powdered sugar.
yeah, like I bet it was like
looked
molten
like a
lava
little-
cakes, maybe.
Maybe
Pound cake or something.
they don't really. They
Butter
don't.
cake.
It seem like they really show the desserts.
Maybe because
during
they're made ahead of
services.
time. I bet.
Probably,
And they just are like
probably,
served.
and they just serve them. Yeah. They used to, like in previous season, they used to like have
Dessert challenges or
dessert,
whatever.
or just have it as part of the service, and they could still get in trouble for not having dessert, right? But now it's just kind of a formality. The team goes in on Josh. Josh is just getting it this whole episode, of course, and I think too, because now that they've been thrown out, they have to find somebody that to blame and put blame on. So they go in on him. He's trying to defend himself. The elimination happens, and so to no surprise, Josh gets called up with Gio. But as we mentioned before, he asked, what was the actual question he asked
For
Josh when he said who feels that Josh?
No, someone volunteered. What's his name? He literally was like,
Oh, that's okay. And then he asked afterwards.
yeah, he was like, just so you know,
Yeah.
like, we're all done with Josh.
Right,
Like,
and then
oh,
he
They
said,
said we've been carrying Josh.
and then he did the poll, and literally the
And
whole
then everybody-
team. That was kind of some sucker stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Like to just be like the icing on the cake, like
Yeah.
we want Josh to go.
I do think that was a strategy move. I don't think he's the worst. I do think it's because they need somebody. Everybody, for the most part, is strong.
Right, I
And
agree.
so-
Who do you guys think that Chef Ramsay would have sent home had it not been for that extra push?
If he had to pick between those two, I would have said Gio because of the proteins, and Gio should know better. He's certainly done this, and again, Josh didn't screw up any dish. He just took his time. I think
And made a lot.
I would have said Gio.
Do you think he was planning to switch whoever was going to be the eliminated person anyway?
I mean, I think it was about time.
Yeah, I mean,
the
it
season.
happens.
Like, do you think he was actually going to actually send someone home?
because I feel like sending Josh home on that would have been kind of chumpy.
Yeah.
It would have been, and it's not. And I feel like we've seen Chef Ramsay, do what he wants to do. Someone's not even up for elimination, and he'll just pull him out. Oh, you're out of here. So I really don't think anyone did anything that egregious to send them home. So I think what he did do, and I'm glad he did it with Rhavin, because Rhavin needed it, because she's been sucking the last 2 weeks.
It was like perfect opportunity.
And so, right, it was a great opportunity to switch the two and kind of see, what could happen as a result of that. So, but I like when that happens, and then Elise is like, no!
Why is she so upset?
She was so
always.
mad.
She's
She
so
was so
vocal.
mad. Yo.
But they haven't had beef. Like, why was she so upset about that?
She just didn't want to lose. I think she didn't want.
She didn't want her team to
she didn't
break
want her
up.
team
Like,
to
she
break
felt
up.
like they were just getting on the streak. They were
Right.
just coming together, had
Right.
the first win.
But she hates Robin. Like,
Yeah.
her and Robin almost fist fought each
Maybe
other.
they made up. Maybe they kissed and made up.
was
True,
just-
but if you just watch another team all say unanimously, we don't want this guy,
Right.
and then
And
he
then it
says,
You were like, don't bring him over here.
Right.
What makes you think we want him?
And that's what I'm sure Elise was on. She was like, no, we don't want no dead weight. But I just love how it was just so like, okay, Josh, to the red team.
Yeah.
No, like she just made it like it was the worst thing ever. Like that was great.
hilarious.
Yeah, so funny. Robin gets sent over to the blue team. We got a couple more minutes. What do you think, just real quick on predictions, what do you think is going to happen with this switch?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
man, looking at the promos, I mean, I feel like you're seeing Josh and Elise butt heads. I think Josh would go farther on the red team than Robin will go on the blue team.
I will agree with that.
I'll agree with you
I
too,
will
Frank.
agree with that.
Don't normally do that.
That's how I
I
feel.
know, it must have been tough for you to do that.
Yes, it was
See
hard.
how uncomfortable you feel right now.
I'm just off today, so all the way around. Just blame it on the day.
I think that is very true. I also find it funny because I don't know if Elise is gonna like get a swallow of her own medicine when she's like, I'm not a bully. No one thinks I'm a bully. And then Dana's like, or is it Michelle?
Dana.
Dana's like, yeah, you are.
Yes, you are.
You kind of are. She gotta know she's a bully. I mean, I think you
Does
don't
it
want
mean
to be.
she's a bully or does it mean she just has a really strong personality? Is she really like telling people what to do, how to do it, when to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's what
She-
we. But is that a bully?
Yeah.
I mean, is she saying it like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I don't think she's doing it out of like.
I just think she has
feel
a
like when
very
you hear the
strong
term
personality.
when you hear the term bully, you hear the term that you're being teased and it's mean spirited act. I don't think she's doing any of that. I think she feels that she's the best in the kitchen, and she's
Which comes
asserting
with being very opinionated
She's
and
asserting
very
herself,
strong.
and she has a strong opinion. She's very opinionated. And she's a strong personality.
Bossy as F.
Yes.
I don't know if she's bully.
Okay, so
She
some
definitely
people
could be
confuse
bossy.
the two.
Yeah.
Some people
Sure.
do confuse the two.
I think actually in terms of predictions, I'm gonna skip over from Josh and lean over to Rhavin on the blue team, and I do not see that going well. I do not see her being successful on the blue team. Personally, we didn't see any previews for it, but I feel like her super strong personality and the blue team, they're all kind of like chill. Like I just don't see that vibing really well.
Or she might just be one of the guys, token lesbian.
Maybe, but I mean, remember, she's got a mouth on her, this one, and I feel like she loves to stir up drama. We love you, Rhavin.
We'll see how it goes with the guys, though. It's easy to talk shit to females, but then it's a whole different game when you're with dudes.
Yeah,
and if they want to treat you like one of the dudes, like all that matters. I want to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but given her cooking track record, I don't think all of a sudden she's going to turn around and start delivering really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it was a personality issue with her per se on the team. She just wasn't doing well, on the challenges. So we'll see.
That's fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show. We want to thank you so much for watching our program. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me always at the Poet Saint all day, every day. And you can check out my website, stayinthemic.com. Ashley, where you at?
Oh, you guys, can we all just agree that we're so happy that Lem made it through the show and then he survived?
Amen.
I personally am. Thank you, Lord. Praise Jesus. Y'all, if you want to talk to me, find me online. Find me at Ashley on Camera, all over the internet, wherever you can find me. Talk to me.
It's been a great one. It's your girl, Rhavin, with the V McSweeney. You can find me at B Stays Busy.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Let's get you in the hot tub tonight. Relax.
Ooh,
it's been a rough week for you. Unwind.
Sizzle, sizzle.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Lem left the studio.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.